What's up guys? Welcome back to my wedding series. This is video number 3. If you missed the first 2, go check them out. And if you're new here, then be sure to subscribe and join the family. If you love wedding planning content, I am doing a wedding series over here on YouTube, talking all things wedding planning, tips, tricks, all the fun things, so you don't want to miss it. Be sure to subscribe. But today, in today's video, we are going to be discussing the pros and cons of a local versus destination wedding. So this list is very important to me right now in real time because I'm currently trying to decide whether I want a local or a destination wedding. So these pros and cons are something that I've written out. I'm still like going over in my head, weighing them and deciding what I want to do. So let's just jump into it. Let's start with local weddings. First obvious pro to having a local wedding is it's convenient. It's easy. It's typically close to your home, easy for everybody to get to, easy, just convenient to travel to be at for yourself and all of your guests. So this can look different though for if some people, if you live in a destination where people are going to be coming regardless, maybe a destination makes more sense because people are going to be traveling regardless, so it doesn't really matter. But if the majority of the guests you're inviting are in that vicinity, it's just going to be easier and more convenient on everyone to actually travel and get to. The second thing that kind of goes hand in hand with regardless of your guests, with you living close to the venue, is that you're able to be more hands-on. You're able to go to the venue, see things in person. So if you're somebody that's very controlling, then it might be good to think about that. Like if you are really someone that really wants to be there in every vendor meeting and like be able to really see things in person, then a local wedding is probably more appealing to you in that way. The next thing with a local wedding is kind of knowing the vendors that are good in your area, because people talk. Like whether you have been to a lot of weddings in your area, you can get those like good recommendations from people that you trust. Luckily, we live in a world where we can all go online, read reviews of a vendor anywhere in the world, but there's just something different about, people that you love and trust around you telling you their recommendations. It just hits a little different. So it's kind of nice having that, and you won't get that with a destination wedding. You might have to just like strictly rely on reviews, which sometimes is a little scary. The other pro that typically goes with a local wedding is more people come. Unless you're in that situation, like I said earlier, where you live somewhere where all of your guests would kind of be flying in. That's not really the typical scenario, I don't think. But typically a local wedding, more people will come because they don't have to travel and it's convenient and easy. See, all these things, kind of go hand in hand with one another. But yeah, more people will come. And if that is something that is important to you, if it's very important to you as well for like, grandparents, great-grandparents even, just maybe like close friends, or maybe you just want a big party and that a lot of them won't make that trip, won't be able to, it stresses them out, then a local wedding might make more sense. So that way everyone that you love and that you've ever dreamt of having at your wedding will be there, because I think having the people that you want there most is like the most important thing. The people is what's going to make your wedding so amazing and special. So I think, if there's somebody you really want there and that they're not going to travel, then a local wedding probably makes more sense. Okay, now let's discuss the pros of a destination wedding. The first, of course, being that this is essentially going to act as a vacation for you and your guests, which is so fun and unique and just super cool. The next thing is that since this is a vacation and since it is a destination, a lot of people aren't going to travel and aren't going to come, which can be a pro or a con, but a lot of people want a smaller, more intimate wedding. So a destination might help cut that guest list down, because a lot of people won't be able to come, and it calls for a smaller, more intimate wedding. So that can be a pro to a lot of people. So the next pro for destination is just going to be that you have a lot more options, because if you're already open to either driving really far, flying, then you have a lot more options as to where to have it. And that just opens up a lot more doors for like your wedding venue. Okay, so the next thing, and it's one of those that can kind of be a pro or a con depending how it goes, is that a destination wedding sometimes can be less expensive than a local wedding due to less people coming or the guest list being much smaller. Because the more people you have, the more expensive a wedding is. You pay per plate typically with a lot of things, and with the plate comes the chair, comes the table, and things just get, you know, knocked down price-wise when you have less people. So a lot of people opt for a destination wedding to even keep their costs down. However, this can totally go the other way depending where you have it, because maybe you're going to need to be traveling there a few times even prior to see it in person or to meet with different vendors, which that all adds up. And of course, depending where you stay and where your destination is, obviously it can end up being very expensive if you go to like some really luxurious place. However, I know so many people that do their weddings in like Cabo in Mexico and have a small guest list, and honestly it is cheaper for them to do that than to have like their huge 400, 500 person wedding locally. So that's one that can really go either way, but it's just something to think about. Okay, so really the pros for the destination wedding are gonna be like the cons for the local wedding and vice versa. So there are pros that kind of go into the cons list, but still a couple things to quickly note is like local wedding, it's not gonna be a vacation and you're gonna have limited options typically than having like keeping it in your area rather than of course being able to have it wherever. Then cons for destination, besides all the local pros, is you know, it is going to be trickier just logistically. It's just not as easy, and you're going to have a lot more trust in your vendors. You're not going to be as hands-on, so you're really gonna have to trust like those reviews, and you may need more help. Like you may need a planner, you just may need a little bit more help if you're doing a destination. But that is the pros and cons. So this is kind of the list that I have running. If you guys have any pros or cons or any like thoughts on this, please leave it in the comments. I would love to know, because like I said, these are just kind of like the real time discussions I'm having. So hopefully this just kind of like gives you guys a little bit more of a perspective. Maybe there's something that you didn't really think about. And like I said, if you're new here, then be sure to hit that subscribe button. I make new videos here every week now with the wedding series, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye-bye.